Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal? The shock of a door quietly closing, a call that goes unreturned, a person who was once your whole world suddenly walking away? It's a pain that shatters your reality. It leaves you feeling lost, questioning everything. But what if I told you that this chaos isn't random? What if that deep, aching wound is actually a message, a precise and deliberate act of divine intervention designed not to break you, but to save you? Today, we're exploring one of the most difficult but profound spiritual truths, the divine purpose of betrayal. Sometimes, the biggest answers to our prayers don't come through grand gestures, but through things being taken away. It's when doors that seemed open quietly close, when calls go unreturned, and when people unexpectedly leave our lives that we often see divine intervention at work. These aren't rejections. They're redirections, subtle but powerful shifts guided by a higher power. The pain of betrayal can really throw us off, leaving us feeling lost. But what if this apparent chaos is actually a precise and deliberate act of divine intervention, especially for someone who's become too attached to things, people, or even past versions of themselves that no longer serve their true path? You might have genuinely prayed for clarity, only to be met with the confusing pain of abandonment. Or maybe you begged for peace, only to find yourself in a storm that ripped certain names from your contacts and familiar faces from your future. The pain is absolutely real, a raw and aching wound. But what if this deep suffering isn't a punishment, but a powerful tool for transformation? And the very loss you're grieving is actually a potent remedy. As humans, we naturally hold on tight to what makes us feel good, even when it's harmful. We get so wrapped up that our identities become tied to relationships God never meant for us to keep, to loyalties He never asked us to maintain, and to outdated versions of ourselves He's already called us to shed. These attachments, though comforting, can become chains, stopping our growth and preventing us from embracing our full divine purpose. So, in His endless wisdom and mercy, God lets the mask fall, revealing the true nature of what was hidden. He allows the lie to surface, exposing the deceit that might have clouded our vision for too long. He orchestrates the breaking of loyalties, not to shame us, but to free us from the very things we wouldn't let go of willingly. When our grip was too tight, when we simply couldn't find the strength to release something, God, in His boundless compassion, let it go for us. This act, though painful at the time, is an act of profound grace. It forces us to confront not just what others did, but to truly consider what that betrayal revealed about ourselves, our weaknesses, our attachments, and ultimately our ability to recover and renew. It's in this letting go that we're given the space to heal, to redefine ourselves, and to step into the liberated future God has always envisioned for us. We often shy away from God's tough, but ultimately healing interventions because we're scared of being alone and really crave approval. What if the betrayals we go through aren't punishment from above, but actually what pushes us toward what we're truly meant to do? What if what feels like the end is just the start God's been planning all along? Pain is a great teacher, and betrayal is its main lesson. The real test is how we react. Will we get bitter, or will we come out smarter? Will we hold on to what could have been? Or will we bravely, even if a little nervously, step into the future God has protected by removing people who weren't supposed to stay? While nobody welcomes betrayal, it often carries a deep truth that goes beyond the immediate hurt. When trust is broken, words sting, or loyalty turns out to be fake, It can feel like your world is falling apart. But in the quiet after, as the pain of their absence fades, there's often a gentle whisper from God, a reassurance that this wasn't rejection, but rather divine protection. Heartbreak, though devastating, can often be a divine intervention. It's God's way of revealing what we couldn't see, hearing conversations we weren't meant to, and shielding us from unseen battles. What feels like ruin is frequently a redirection towards a future we wouldn't have discovered if we had remained in the wrong circumstances with the wrong people. We sometimes cling to relationships, friendships, or opportunities that are not meant for us out of fear of loneliness, fear of starting over, or fear of losing what we perceive as necessary. However, God, in His infinite wisdom, sees the ultimate outcome. He foresees the heartbreak, betrayal, or destruction that lies ahead if we persist. Out of love, He may allow betrayal to occur, not to harm us, but to remove what we lacked the courage to release ourselves. This is not cruelty. It is grace in its purest form. Sometimes God allows deep hurt to compel us to walk away, ensuring we never return to a place not designed for us. Reflect on past betrayals and their aftermath. Wasn't it through that pain you found your strength? Wasn't it after the heartbreak that you truly recognized who stood by you? Betrayal has a way of stripping away the fake, leaving only the genuine. It exposes illusions, revealing what is true and what was always a lie. God permits this because your destiny is too significant to be entangled with those who don't have your best interests at heart. He knows the weight you are meant to carry, and that some people would only hinder, distract, or even sabotage what He is building within you. Therefore, when betrayal strikes, it is not the end but a clearing of the path. We often pray for blessings, open doors, and a better future, unaware that these answers sometimes come through painful exits. When God intends to elevate you, He often begins by removing what obstructs your view of Him. Betrayal is one of His methods. While we grieve and question why someone could hurt us so deeply, God is often saying, "You asked for peace, yet you clung to the very thing that stole it. You prayed for joy, but you held onto a source of pain. I had to remove them to give you what you asked for." In such moments, heartbreak is not punishment. It is preparation. It is God making space for something far greater than what you lost. Not everyone is meant to journey with you. Your destiny is sacred, and God will protect it, even if it means breaking your heart to save your soul. When we experience betrayal or loss, it's natural to feel hurt and confused. However, these challenging moments can be seen not as punishments, but as divine guidance. God gently, yet firmly, steers us away from toxic situations and paths that would ultimately cause us more pain, leading us towards the life He has prepared. Often, what feels like loss is actually mercy in disguise. We mourn what's gone, perceiving it as cruelty, but these may be God's interventions, rescuing us from greater harm. We frequently cling to relationships, jobs, dreams, or habits that subtly undermine our peace and growth, simply because they offer a false sense of comfort or identity. When we resist letting go, God may step in and remove these elements, even if it breaks our hearts. He sees dangers we cannot, knowing that what we hold onto might be blocking the very blessings we've prayed for. Sometimes, God answers our prayers not by adding to our lives, but by removing what weakens us. We may ask for strength, and He takes away things that deplete it. We may seek happiness, and He removes relationships or environments that steal our joy. Initially, this feels like a loss, as if our prayers are ignored or what we need is being taken away. Yet, with time, we realize He wasn't ignoring us. He was protecting us. He understood that certain people or situations would prevent us from becoming who we are meant to be, because He loves us too much to let us remain confined. He removes these obstacles. Even when we fight to hold on, loss teaches us deeper trust in God. It strips away our false securities, compelling us to lean on His wisdom rather than our own understanding. When something or someone is taken away, it creates an emptiness. This void is not meant to destroy us, but to be filled by something better, more aligned with our purpose. While we may grieve what's gone, God is already preparing what is to come. Betrayal and loss, though deeply painful, often serve as divine redirection and disguised mercy from God. He uses these experiences to guide us away from harmful situations and towards the life He intends, even protecting us from greater future harm. We frequently cling to relationships, jobs, dreams, or habits that offer a false sense of comfort, identity, or security. Even when these attachments subtly diminish our peace and hinder our growth, we resist letting go. In such instances, God intervenes, removing these attachments, however heartbreaking it may be. He perceives dangers we cannot, knowing that what we hold onto might be blocking the very blessings we've prayed for. Sometimes, God answers our prayers not by adding, but by removing. When you pray for strength, He may remove what weakens you. When you pray for happiness, He may remove relationships or environments that steal your joy. Initially, these divine interventions can feel like a loss, as if your prayers are ignored or something essential is being taken away. Though difficult in the moment, losses often reveal God's protective hand, guiding you away from hindrances to your growth. His love is too great to let you remain small, so He removes people or situations that no longer serve your intended purpose. This teaches a deeper trust in Him, stripping away false securities and forcing reliance on His wisdom over our own understanding. When something is taken away, the resulting emptiness is not meant to destroy, but to be filled with something better and more aligned with your purpose. We often cannot see this immediately, grieving what was lost while God is already preparing what is to come. The hidden mercy in loss is real. It shields you from paths that would have drained your spirit or caused irreparable harm. Reflect on times you pleaded for something to stay, only to later realize its absence was a blessing. Perhaps a painful breakup ultimately preserved your peace, confidence, or future, or a job loss that felt devastating pushed you toward fulfilling opportunities. In these instances, what seemed like a tragedy was a hidden gift. Mercy doesn't always appear gentle. It can manifest as closed doors, departures, or collapsed plans. Yet, God's heart aims not to harm, but to heal. He allows certain things to leave your life because they were taking more than they gave, breaking you more than they were building you. He knows what is best for you, even when you cannot comprehend it. What feels like a painful end is often a divine redirection. What you perceive as loss is God's hand reshaping your life into something far greater than you can currently imagine. In time, you will look back and recognize the hidden mercy within every tear. Exposure, while incredibly painful, is also one of the most liberating experiences God allows. When someone you trusted betrays you, revealing their true intentions, It feels as if your world has been shaken. The disappointment, shock, and sting of realizing their loyalty was an illusion can leave you breathless. However, what if this betrayal wasn't meant to destroy you, but to awaken you? God allows masks to fall, not to shame you for trusting, but to free you from living a lie. It's His way of saying, this is who they truly are. And now you know, though your heart aches from the revelation, your soul is finally liberated from the chains of false loyalty that held you back. Betrayal reveals truths that words often conceal. While people may flawlessly present themselves, feigning care and playing their roles, God allows situations to surface that expose their true intentions, particularly when you are on the brink of new beginnings. What was once hidden behind pleasantries or whispers is brought into the light. Although painful, it is far better to confront the truth, however wounding, than to be comforted by a lie. This exposure is not meant to destroy you, but to protect you. God's desire is for His children to be free from illusions, to avoid investing love and trust in relationships or friendships not founded on truth. When betrayal strikes, we often question why God allowed it. Yet, consider the alternative, remaining ignorant of their true intentions. You might have continued to dedicate your time, energy, and heart to someone undeserving, someone capable of inflicting far greater harm in the future. While the unveiling of truth can feel brutal, it is the only way to safeguard you from lasting damage. God understands that misplaced loyalty can be more perilous than open opposition. Though betrayal may break your heart for a time, it ultimately saves your soul from years of unnecessary suffering. Exposure, though often painful, provides invaluable clarity, revealing who truly supports you and who is merely opportunistic. It distinguishes trustworthy individuals from those who exploit you for personal gain. While losing someone you once believed in can be agonizing, continuing to associate with those who don't have your best interests at heart is far more detrimental. God, in His love, allows such betrayals to illuminate the path forward, even if the initial light is blinding. This process of exposure also offers profound self-reflection, prompting you to examine why you overlooked warning signs, suppressed your intuition, or tolerated unacceptable behaviors. It sharpens your discernment, fostering wisdom and caution in whom you place your trust. You learn that not all smiles are genuine, and not all extended hands are there to uplift you. Most importantly, you learn to prioritize your trust in God, recognizing His omniscient perspective. Ultimately, the revelation of someone's true nature is not a loss, but a gain. It liberates you from illusions, empowering you to move forward with sincere individuals who are genuinely meant to be part of your journey. There comes a point where releasing what no longer aligns with your path is essential. Though letting go can be difficult, detachment isn't a punishment, but a sacred prerequisite for growth. You cannot ascend to higher ground if you remain burdened by people, habits, or environments that deplete your strength. Some attachments offer comfort not because they are beneficial, but simply because they are familiar. We often hold on to people and situations that hinder our future and spiritual growth. To truly thrive, we must release the burdens that keep us grounded. God often creates space for new blessings by removing what no longer serves our purpose. We may pray for abundance and clarity, yet our hands remain full of what we refuse to let go of, clinging to confusion and painful attachments. Spiritual elevation often follows a challenging process of pruning, where unproductive connections are severed. This detachment isn't meant to cause harm, but to prepare us for our true calling, just as a tree sheds dead branches to grow stronger. The difficulty lies in our emotional attachments to things that cannot accompany us on our spiritual journey, such as relationships that feel safe but ultimately stunt our growth. Sometimes we cling to friendships that have turned toxic, filled with envy or negativity. Other times, we hold on to an outdated version of ourselves, old habits, fears, and mindsets. God cannot elevate you to your destined self if you refuse to release who you once were. Detachment demands trust that God understands your needs better than you do, and that what He removes, He will replace with something far superior. Trust that letting go isn't a loss, but an act of making space for something better. It's within this trust that genuine growth begins. You'll start to realize that the people and things you once relied on for validation, comfort, or identity were never meant to hold such power over you. As you detach, your strength will root itself in God, rather than in the fragile approval of others. Releasing what drains you brings a noticeable shift. Your spirit lightens, your mind clears, and once blocked opportunities begin to emerge. This is because elevation is impossible when you are weighed down. God has new paths, new connections, and new blessings awaiting you. However, you cannot receive them if your hands are still full of what should have been left behind. Detachment is not a sign of weakness. It signifies maturity and faith. It's a choice to trust that God's plan surpasses your attachments, even when letting go feels like tearing away a part of yourself. In time, you will understand that what you released was never meant to stay, and what is coming will be worth every release. Just as a pruned tree eventually flourishes with fresh blossoms and stronger branches, you will find that the parts of your life that felt empty will soon be filled with blessings you could not have received otherwise. Every cut has a reason, and every loss has a purpose. Pruning is not about taking from you, but about preparing you to hold more, to carry more joy, more peace, more success, and more of God's calling. It is a reminder that even in the painful seasons, you are being cared for by a loving hand that knows exactly how to bring out the best in you. We often unknowingly cling to things that hinder our progress. Unhealthy attachments, toxic relationships, or negative thought patterns can weigh us down like dead branches. God, as the master gardener, discerns what we cannot. He sees which branches are diseased, unproductive, or need to be removed to allow for new growth. This pruning process may be painful, feeling like rejection, disappointment, or failure. Yet, it is God's way of creating space for something far greater. Every cut is intentional and purposeful. The people we lose or the situations that end are not punishments, but part of a divine strategy to strengthen us. If God left every unhealthy branch, we would be weighed down by what was never meant to stay. Instead, He carefully removes what no longer serves our journey, enabling us to thrive. An unexpected departure from your life may simply be God pruning away what would have blocked your future harvest. The process of pruning also cultivates humility and trust. We don't always understand why God removes certain things. With our limited perspective, we see only the cut, not the future fruit, the pain, not the promise. In these moments, faith is crucial. We must trust that God's hands are steady, that every removal is for our good, and that He is preparing us for something better than we can currently perceive. It is often after a season of pruning that we look back and realize how much lighter and stronger we have become. The most fruitful seasons often follow the most painful cuts. What feels like an ending is often the beginning of a new chapter filled with opportunities for growth and purpose. Just as a pruned tree flourishes with fresh blossoms and stronger branches, the empty parts of your life will be filled with blessings you couldn't have received otherwise. Every cut and every loss has a reason and a purpose. Pruning is not about taking from you, but about preparing you to hold more joy, more peace, more success, and more of God's calling. It is a reminder that even in painful seasons, you are being cared for by a loving hand that knows exactly how to bring out the best in you. Betrayal, a profound shock, compels us to question both the betrayer and ourselves. The deep wound of being let down by someone trusted can feel unhealing, yet this pain reveals a crucial lesson about where our trust truly belongs. It forces us to recognize that no human, regardless of closeness or loyalty, can be the bedrock of our peace and self-worth. Betrayal redirects our hearts, showing us that God is the only unwavering foundation for our lives. Over-reliance on human approval inadvertently grants others the power to define us as we seek their validation, comfort, and affirmation of our value. People are inherently flawed and inconsistent, often changing their minds or betraying trust without warning. In contrast, God is unchanging and remains faithful even when others fail us. While betrayal is painful, it can refocus us, reminding us that our true worth comes from God, not from human opinions. In these difficult moments, we can perceive His guidance, urging us to place our trust in Him alone. Pain serves as a powerful teacher, dispelling illusions about others' loyalty and prompting us to examine where we've placed our hope. When betrayed, it's easy to succumb to self-doubt, questioning our own worth. However, betrayal reflects the character of the betrayer, not our own. In the aftermath of heartbreak, God reassures us, you were never meant to build your identity on their approval. You were always meant to rest in my love. Paradoxically, betrayal can draw us closer to God. When human voices prove unreliable, we learn to seek His voice above all. We pray with greater sincerity, seeking His guidance rather than relying on others' opinions. The pain of betrayal becomes a pathway to deeper intimacy with God, as we finally grasp that He is the only one who will never abandon, forsake, or fail us. Shifting your trust from human relationships to a divine connection reveals an inner strength born from the assurance that even when others depart, a higher power remains steadfast. Betrayal, in its wake, sharpens your discernment, allowing you to perceive individuals for who they truly are rather than who you wish them to be. While love and forgiveness are paramount, you also learn to free your identity from the burden of human expectations. You can cherish, value, and appreciate people's presence, but your self-worth no longer hinges on their approval. This liberation empowers you, removing the need to constantly seek validation or earn acceptance as you recognize your inherent worth bestowed by your Creator. Over time, the pain of betrayal transforms from a wound into a pivotal moment. It guides you toward a deeper faith, anchoring your confidence in an eternal source. While people may falter, a divine presence never will. Embracing this ultimate trust brings an unshakable peace that no betrayal can diminish. Ultimately, gratitude profoundly redefines the narrative of our suffering. Initially, betrayal inflicts a deep wound, shattering trust and leaving you feeling exposed and broken. In these first moments, gratitude is far from your mind. Instead, you're consumed by the pain of loss, the shock of disappointment, and a multitude of unanswered questions. However, as time progresses and your life begins to mend, a new understanding emerges. You start to realize that each betrayal wasn't a cruel twist of fate, but a divinely orchestrated event preparing you for something far greater. It wasn't meant to destroy you, but to position you for blessings that couldn't have manifested if certain individuals had remained in your life. With the benefit of distance, you begin to see that what you perceived as rejection was, in fact, redirection. You come to understand how God utilized these betrayals to close doors that would have led you astray. You recognize that some relationships, while seemingly positive at the time, were not aligned with your true destiny. The agony of betrayal, though brutal when it occurred, transforms into a gift because it compelled you to embark on a path you would never have chosen independently. Gratitude surfaces when you grasp how the betrayal spared you years of associating with the wrong people, investing in unsuitable endeavors, or shouldering burdens that were never meant for you. It requires spiritual maturity to express thanks for pain, yet it is often these challenging periods that forge the strongest version of yourself. Reflecting on your past struggles, you observe how each heartbreak prepared, strengthened, and shaped your character. The tears you shed became seeds that nurtured your growth. The solitude you experienced became the quiet space where God's voice finally resonated clearly. You begin to comprehend that without these betrayals, you might still be trapped in old patterns, still seeking approval from those who were never meant to define your worth. Gratitude transforms this pain by shifting your focus from what you lost to what you gained. Betrayal frequently serves as a gateway to unimaginable blessings, stripping away falsehoods to reveal only what is genuine and real. When certain individuals exit our lives, they create space for those who are meant to enter. When opportunities seem to vanish, they are, in fact, paving the way for superior ones to emerge. Cultivating gratitude enables us to perceive every painful conclusion as a divinely orchestrated new beginning. This shift in perspective empowers us to move beyond asking, "Why did this happen to me?" to declaring, "Thank you, God, for guiding me even when I lacked understanding." Such a transformation is profoundly impactful, converting wounds into wisdom and bitterness into peace. Gratitude also liberates us from the shackles of resentment. Lingering on betrayal with anger or bitterness keeps us bound to the hurt. However, by embracing gratitude, we sever that chain. We cease to view betrayal as something that destroyed us, but rather as something that refined us. We can reflect and affirm, that moment was necessary for me to become who I am today. While gratitude doesn't erase the pain, it imbues it with meaning. It serves as a reminder that God's plan was always grander than our disappointments, and what felt like an end was truly a divine alignment. Ultimately, gratitude empowers us not merely to survive betrayal, but to transcend it, emerging stronger, wiser, and more attuned to the blessings awaiting us on the other side. If this message resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe for more content on faith and personal growth. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share a time when a painful ending turned into a beautiful new beginning. Your story could be the hope someone else needs to see today. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Be blessed and know that you are never alone.